Hey everyone, Ashley Mailloux here. I've put together a coast to coast Pick 5 ticket for this Sunday, February 19th. The sequence gets kicked off in South Florida at Gulfstream Park with their seventh race, which is a mile and an eighth maiden special weight event for 3-year-old fillies. It's a field of 9. And I decided to spread in this race. I thought there were a couple directions one could go. I think the one, Doral, looks extremely tough off a very strong debut, going slightly shorter, but has an inside post and made up a ton of ground at a mile and a 16th last time out. Junior Alvarado and Bill Mott always ones to watch when they team up, and I just think this horse looks pretty tough. But I thought the 8 Bombonera is one to include as well. Had some trouble, a little bit green on debut, finished 4th, but was disqualified and placed 9th. Obviously, horses such as this one and Doral can certainly step up. Second time out, Arado Ortiz Jr. was aboard for the debut, stays aboard. I just think there's a ton of upside on this horse. And then my long shot on here at 20-1 on the morning lines, the 9 Pura Una Cabeza. This is a horse that finally got on the turf last time out. They decided to switch it up on this horse, went 7.5, made up a ton of ground. A lot of things happened in that race. This horse ended up finishing 4th, beaten by 3 lengths. I'm just curious if Michael Matz is the trainer here, running well on the grass and now stretching out again. I think this horse is really intriguing and maybe a stretch for the win honors, but I thought this horse, if this horse did win in this race, I'd be pretty upset. So I decided to include this one at a price. Now we'll move to Santa Anita for their Sunday opener, which is a maiden special weight event for California bred or California sired runners that are 4 or 5 years old. 6 furlongs is the distance on the turf. I narrowed this down pretty quickly to 2 runners, the 2 Bill Byrne, Joe Jonick, and the 3 Johnny Paycheck. In the case of both of them, last time out they ran very nicely. They're exiting that same race at Del Mar. Billy Bo Joan Jurnek, finished 3rd in that race, was the pace setter and tired a bit in there, but was kind of vying for the lead throughout. So I thought it was a pretty nice performance. Now just making that 3rd start of his career. And then Johnny Paycheck, blinkers on for the Phil D'Amato barn. This horse you can see has had some gaps in between those races, but arguably last time out, one of his better efforts, his best efforts have been on the grass. I just think the blinkers on is going to be involved early and keyed up. So this is an outfit that I always watch and thought this was a major player. We'll move now back to Gulfstream Park for their 9th race, a 5 furlong turf sprint allowance optional claiming competition, a very tricky race to navigate through. And this is an all turf sequence. Now, if this race for some reason were to be moved due to rain to the Tapeta, I think the number 4 Hope in Him, I would certainly have to use. He is 2-1 on the morning line. I just thought turf, I don't think his numbers are going to be the same on the turf as they've been on the Tapeta, so I did not use him in this spot. I thought the number 6 Detroit City ran a huge race last time out against a starter 50 competition. Now that was on the Tapeta going 5/8, but this horse got a nice trip. It was a compact field, had a kind of a mid-pack early on, but was close to the lead and made a late run, much the best with a 92 Beyer speed figure. I'm curious to see him getting back on the grass. I think this is an interesting move from Jack Sisterson, 3-1 on the morning line. And then the number 9, Axlum. This is a horse who has been routing on the turf in most of his recent efforts. He's actually graded 3 placed. You can see that in the Bryan Station, 3 starts back at Keeneland. Yes, that was going a mile, but look at the trips and the numbers he's gotten. Multiple 80-plus Beyer speed figures in these mile races. And I think in terms of position, he's going to be flying late in here and can maybe get, the major piece in here in terms of win honors. He's 6-1 morning line. Now we'll move back to Santa Anita Park for those last 2 legs. 4th leg is race number 3, a mile event on the turf, $50,000 maiden claimers. This is also for 4 and 5-year-olds. There are 3 horses I thought stood out, the 2, 4, and the 7. I went with the 2 and the 7, tossing Big Flint. In the case of the number 2, 34 Coupe, this is one who made a first start after a year layoff. He ran okay, finished mid-pack in a field of 9, but he has shown some tactical early foot, which I think could be to his advantage and obviously should step up off that long layoff in that second start. And then the number 7, the key is Unity. I know he's had his fair share of chances throughout his career, but his numbers are the best in the field. Hopefully the pace is right for him because he typically comes from off of it, but a short price on the key is Unity. Then to wrap things up, race number 5 at Santa Anita Park, 6.5 furlongs on the turf in the starter optional claimant event. The 2 She's Got Away is going to face lesser competition. I think that's going to help her chances. She's run okay in those last 2, finishing 4th. I just think the class relief certainly sets her up for a bigger performance. The 4 Palios Princess, my long shot in here, 1 of 3 for trainer Jeff Mullins. She broke her maiden on the grass 2 starts back, and then last time out stepped up into deeper waters, only beat 1, but she's been on the sidelines since then. So I have to think she's needed the time off, and the barn with new acquisitions, 28%. And then looking at others in here, one of her stablemates, the number 9, Good Buju. This one is a third place finisher. Last time out going 5.5, and I think can step up in here. Might be tough with some early tactical speed. So that's how I see Sunday's Coast to Coast Pick 5. A quick look at my ticket. 3 runners in the first and final legs, which makes for a $72 ticket. Good luck this Sunday.